The Jacksonville Jaguars select
Well, everybody, kind of threw this one together last minute for you. Hope everyone's doing great. Happy holidays, as always. Christian Ballard here with Ballard Sports Media. Coming at you live, Ballard Sports 360. I hope y'all can hear me. I've had a hard time. I still don't know what's up. I don't think that it's my it's not my computer. Something happened with the StreamYard and the camera won't work properly. But if you guys can hear me, give me like a thumbs up or say something in the chat. I don't know. Hold on. But welcome in to an edition today, with tomorrow being early signing day. This is episode 17 of Ballard Sports 360, talking sports all the way around. You ever want to be a guest? Let me know. Email me. Let me know, hey, I want to be on the 360 show with you, talk some sports. Let me know what you want to talk about, or let me know if you just want to be interviewed or ask questions. I mean, I've interviewed like Chess Hall on here, asked him questions and found some stuff out about him I didn't know about, or stuff I already knew. But, you know, got a few things before we, get started. I will say this. Again, Merry Christmas to everyone. I keep saying it, but I'm excited. Tomorrow, we're 10 days away. We're 11 days away from Christmas Day. Right? So, it's incredible. Now, I'm going to go live for early signing day, but I do want to preview it a little bit, talk about it. I want to hear from you guys. Like, what are some of the prospects out there? What are some of the recruits you're looking to keep an eye on for your team, or just in general? Like, is there a recruit out there we need to watch? Like, oh, this guy, keep your eye on him. He's an underrated tackle or something, and he could flip. Like, what do you got for me? I want to read comments and hear from you guys. And again, if you ever want to be a guest on this show, just email me, ballardsports19@gmail.com, or you can message me at ballardsports on Twitter. If you ever want to be a guest, every once in a while I might do like a hangout episode and get you guys on, do like a viewer special type of thing for this show. But that's not the case today. Just kind of run through some sports and everything. But and this is interesting too. I actually, now that I'm seeing this on 24/7 Sports, Let me share screen with you guys. I hope it'll let me screen share. I guess it won't. This sucks. Hold on. Give me 1 second. There we go. What's up, Golden Blue dude? Surprised West Virginia picking up some good players at the last minute. Yeah, man, I'm keeping an eye on that. I apologize too. I'm just gonna do this on my phone real quick. I seriously don't know what's going on with StreamYard. But and see, it looks like it's fine on here, so maybe there's something wrong with my laptop. I don't know, but I can't get the camera to work. I can't share screen, and I can't even share screen on this. But no worries. We can handle it. It'll be okay. Uh, I can, I can work with this. We can work on it and we can talk about it. But I do have some questions and some things that I do want to bring up. And, I do want to, I want to talk about them. I'm a little curious. So the first thing I'll say, if you guys can still hear me, let me know. But the first thing I'll say is what happened to Dabo and Clemson? What has happened? You know, what happened to Dabo and Clemson? Honestly. So when you look at it, Dabo Swinney, amazing head coach, amazing recruiter. He's got 2 national titles under his belt. Of course, we both know, we know that he's won his titles against Nick Saban, right? That's great. Was hired. He was actually brought in after Ballard as the interim coach in 2008. Officially named the actual head coach in 2009. So far, he has a 149-36 record. He is 10-7 in bowl games. He's 6-4 in the college football playoff. I mentioned 2 titles for the 2016 season and the 2018 season, both against Alabama. He's won the ACC 7 times. He's won his division 9 times. He's been coach of the year with the Bear Bryant Award 3 times. I mean, I could go down the list. Dabo has done a lot and done enough for Clemson, right? And just when we were starting to say that Clemson, let's go back. We remember Deshaun Watson beating Alabama the first time around, the game-winning throw to Hunter Renfrow. We remember all of that. But what went wrong? Honestly, when you look at it. So just hear me out real quick. that I think, well, honestly, there's no telling what went wrong. Is it coaching? Did the coaches just give up? And then also, now you got to think about it like this. With Brent Venables gone, who's one of the best defensive minds, and I know I say that about Saban. I know I say that about Kirby. That's not the case for everybody. But I will say Brent Venables is a special type of coordinator. He's been at Clemson for quite some time. He deserves to get a head coaching job somewhere. Going to Oklahoma, that's going to be interesting. Does he bring some defense to the Big 12? I think so. I think it's interesting, obviously, him replacing Lincoln Riley. But then you got to look at the Clemson side. What do they do now? Because I'll tell you what, Brent Venables was not the issue. Even last year, their defense was still one of the better defenses in college football, despite the decline. Or I say last year, I'm talking, I should say this year, actually. But because, I mean, even going into this season, I think we looked at the two best defenses were going to be Clemson and Georgia, flip-flop them. Now, I do think that Clemson's defense is still really good. The problem is they don't have an offense that can score points. So what are they doing? They're losing these games. Overall, Clemson went from not 2 or 3 years ago being the up-and-coming, going to take out the Tide, going to surpass Saban, Dabo's going to do this or that, keep an eye on them, they could be great, to now they're not. I mean, they're just on this downfall and decline. Now, again, you're going to have some rebuilding years. You're going to have those moments. You're going to have games. You're going to have rebuild years. And this is a rebuild year. But if you're a Clemson fan, I don't think that you necessarily, don't sit there and pout like, oh, we're just, I don't think you need to worry too much. But the fact that you just lost a great defensive mind, now you might want to worry a bit. They're 9-3 on the regular season, 6-2 in conference play. They ended up ranked 19 in the final poll, right behind NC State. Wake Forest ended up winning the Atlantic, I'm sorry. Pitt won the Coastal. So Clemson didn't even win their division. If they had had a little bit of a downfall, lost a couple games, and they still won their division, you're like, all right, well, they still made their conference. But the fact that, it maybe you look at it like, oh, well, Wake Forest is on the rise. NC State's on the rise. I really don't think that's it. Clemson has only scored in total this year 322 points for. That's not too bad, but there's a huge gap between them and NC State and then Wake Forest. They've only given up 180 points. They still have the best defense in the ACC, but it's just mind-boggling. I mean, I could get if Clemson drops, and maybe, I think their record ended up being better than what it should have been. Quite honestly, if you had to look at a team based on how they actually are, and you said, let's give them a record based on how they've performed this year, based on how they've looked, based on the struggles, based on all of that, quite honestly, I'm putting Clemson at 7-5. So for them to be 9-3 after the horrific losses that they've had this year, you're talking about, losing Trevor Lawrence and ETN, and Clemson fans are going to say that. They're going to say that, you're saying, oh, well, we lost this guy or that guy. I thought in the preseason going into this year, did I not recall y'all saying that DJ should be the Heisman front runner? He wasn't in New York. For half of this season, he wasn't even a candidate. Clemson's offense has lost their way to score. Clemson is on downfall and decline. And I don't know what's happened. I have heard a lot of fans say stuff like, you know, I mean, I have heard fans say they need to get rid of Tony Elliott, and Tony Elliott's given up, and he doesn't care. I don't know what's up, but I do know Clemson's in a hole that it's going to take a lot to get out of. Now, I think Dabo could do it, but I mean, come on. I want to point out. Let me see Slim's comment here. Ballard, who hired all those good coaches that have left Clemson? I mean, I'm not saying they're great or anything. I mean, I get what you're getting at, Slim. I mean, I will say this, that for the most part, at least with Venables, I mean, Clemson has been built defensively. You know, but there's been some downfall. And they've still looked good, but there's been downfall. And after losing guys like after losing guys like T. Higgins and Travis Etienne and of course Trevor Lawrence, I mean, now it's like, they don't have an offense. Who's hiring the coaches to replace them? Well, that's the thing. Dabo's the head coach. Now, honestly, guys, look, I'm not trying to say anything crazy or whatever. I need y'all's help. See, that's the thing. I can't figure this out for Clemson. I don't know what you want me to say about it. All I know is they went from being one of the top premier programs, high on the hog, riding with Alabama, to now this season, and they're not one of the worst teams, but they're not anywhere close to where they need to be. What's up, Golden Blue Dude? Good to see you. Rattler actually could make it in Oklahoma. They panicked. Rattler had 74 completion percentage and Caleb Williams 62. Spencer Rattler wasn't the problem. I would agree with that, actually. But anyway, the thing with Dabo is he has done an amazing job at Clemson, but now he's in a position where he's got to fix some things. And I'm not here to say he's should be or is or anywhere. I don't know how close he is to getting on the hot seat. I doubt he's anywhere near that. I mean, I guess it depends on how it's going to be after this season. Like, can they get back and at least win the ACC next year? I don't know. DJ's going to be back. You'll have some other key receivers. You'll have some defense. They got a lot of young guys this year. You know, and I'm just going to – I know Clemson fans want to sit there and say, oh, it's just a rebuild year. We're just rebuilding. I really think it's more than that. You don't just – for a program that has been consistent like Clemson has with winning the conference, with the number of years in a row they've made the playoffs, everything they've done in an 8-4 or whatever it was as a rebuild year, I mean, 10-2 maybe, but that's crazy. Slim says it's easy. If your O-line is bad, your offense doesn't work. That's true. They do have a bad O-line. They, you know, and I'll tell you what, I have a feeling, you know, what Clemson really should be worried about. And listen, I'm curious to see what recruits are going to think now that a guy like Venables is gone. And the job that Tony Elliott did this year I'm curious what they're thinking about Clemson right now. Do they want to go to that program? And even if Clemson is still going to fall behind, Bama's ahead of them. I think that you got Bama, you got Georgia, Oklahoma. Keep an eye on LSU and Brian Kelly, maybe. I mean, recruiting is the bloodline of college football, which we'll get to that in a second with signing day tomorrow. But there is no excuse, really, for Clemson's just abysmal downfall. This is crazy. I can't figure it out. And really, the big question I have is not where Clemson goes from here after this awful, horrific season to their standards. But Dabo Swinney, what the hell are you going to do about it? Who are you going to bring in? How are you going to get back to what you were a couple years ago? That's what I want to know. If I'm Clemson and I'm Dabo Swinney and I'm sitting there, you just got to get back. You got to hope you have a good day tomorrow on signing day. And of course, in February, get a great class, bring in a lot of talent, and get everybody back together. Not saying like go get Venables back or whatever, but just get everybody on the same page and rebuild this program. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be a one-year thing, I don't think. I think Clemson can get back. I do. Like I said, the big question I have is what happened? They lost too many players? Just piss poor offensive play calling? I mean, I don't know. That's what I think it is. I mean, I guess in a way you could tell that that's what it is, but I mean, it's like, man, how did Clemson, this team that like 4 years ago, almost, blew out Alabama. This is a team that was making the playoffs 4 years in a row. They beat Alabama in 2 national titles, one of which was by 28 points, which was they beat the best team all season long that year. Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne. They lose all those guys, okay. But then we're hyping up DJ and how good he looked when he had to come in for Trevor Lawrence. We hyped them all up, right? This offseason, before this season, a lot of people were high on their defense, drinking that Kool-Aid, talking about DJ should be the Heisman favorite, and everything. And nothing that was said about Clemson in the offseason has come to pass, not even close. I don't know where it goes from here. But if you're a Clemson fan out there, listen, I get it. It's a tough year. I mean, man, Clemson's got to get back. It's going to take some time. I don't know if I want to say they can or cannot do it. But going forward, man, it's going to be a tough road ahead for the Tigers. All right, I have to address. Okay, I'm going to drop the link, and I'm going to let Slim on because I don't know. I see your comments, but I want you to come on here, Slim, just Slim Shady, if you can, because I know you're a busy guy. Come on here real quick with me and talk about Clemson for a second, because he says putting me in concussion protocol, completely lost my mind. He says I'm crazy. If your O-line is bad, your offense doesn't work any offense. Well, I know that. But I also have heard stuff, and I really could tell. I don't think Tony Elliott did a good job this year anyway. Forget about just the O-line for a second. All right. I'm going to let Slim on. Just go ahead and say what I'm correct, because I'm lost here. Okay. just clear me up on all this, man. Like, what is it about Clemson and what happened and where are they going forward?
Okay, you're talking like somebody that
I
never
mean, seriously,
watched a
man.
Clemson game. Seriously, you're talking like somebody that never watched a Clemson game. That defense was elite. That's a top 5 defense in the nation, point blank, period. That offensive line is bad. Tony Elliott is a bland, vanilla play caller.
I would agree.
And those two things led to their offense not being able to put up points. I mean, it's real simple. It's been the same problem with Miami's offense over the past couple of years. Bad offensive line play, and especially with Mark Richt, bland, vanilla play calling.
Well, I mean, isn't that kind of what I was just saying about Tony Elliott this year? I mean, I wasn't trying to I wasn't saying it was a lack of talent or anything. I mean, I kind of called him out on play calling and whatever, like just not getting it together.
Okay, but you're making it sound like Clemson is going to be down like Miami has. Clemson will be an elite team next season.
I mean, look, I'm not
doubting
that completely. I'm just trying, like I was saying, like as if I'm talking to Dabo Sweeney, like, what are you going to do about it? I mean, I think they could get back, but I don't know, like, how. And
no, you literally said that they're multiple years from being back to being an elite team. You literally said that.
All right. And I mean, I didn't say like they were decades away. I mean, I'm sure they're going to get back within a year or two. But I mean,
that's what, the second, third most talented team in the country?
I couldn't hear you on that one.
I said Clemson's either the second or third most talented team in the country. I mean, you're ripping their 9-3 record. What's the difference between Clemson this year and Alabama in 2019? A couple of minutes in a game?
Yeah, I guess in a way.
Okay, well, you wasn't on here spewing, God, I don't know what the hell Nick Saban's going to do.
Nick Saban? I didn't say anything about Saban.
That's exactly my point. You wasn't on here in 2019 hollering about what the hell is Nick Saban and Alabama going to do. There's no difference between 2019 Bama and 2021 Clemson. They're the same thing. You don't win your conference. You don't win your conference every year. Nobody makes it to the playoffs every year. It's just the way it goes. And I mean, if they did, what the hell would be the point in watching?
That's true, but I'll do you one better. All right. They won the title last in the 2018 season. Now, I understand in a way, it took Bama 3 years between last year and second and 26. But, I mean, they didn't even make the title last year, first off.
They made the playoffs.
I'll give the LSU one a slide, but.
Okay, they made the playoffs. So what's the difference between 2014 Alabama and 2020 Clemson? Nothing.
You got me there.
Bama made the semifinals and got put out by Ohio State.
That's true. I mean,
just saying, Ballard, you're sounding a little crazy.
I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. Look, we'll see what happens next year.
I'm not at all saying Clemson doesn't have problems that need to be addressed.
Right.
They know that. But behind that offensive line, insert quarterback here is not going to look great. That offensive line was that bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you put back there. Now, DJ has the ability. We've seen it.
Of course. I was never ripping DJ.
Didn't say you were.
Right.
But we've seen DJ with the ability. Against what was that? Notre Dame and Boston College in 2020.
Yeah, when he came in for Trevor.
But 450 yards of offense against Notre Dame. That was a good defense.
Yep.
So Dabo needs to swallow some pride, snatch up a few offensive linemen from the transfer portal, because that's about the only way you're going to get offensive linemen in a hurry.
Yeah.
And Clemson will be just fine. Now, it wasn't even all, and it's very rarely ever just one or two things. There are a lot of drop balls by receivers. Receivers got to put it. They got to put in their work to make themselves better. Said the same thing about Miami's wide receivers. But like I said, you're coming on here talking like it's going to be Clemson is a complete rebuild, and they have to bring in 3 or 4 recruiting classes before they can think about doing anything, and that's just not the case.
All right.
Clemson's going to have a top 5, top 10 recruiting class again this year. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And then to the point of, guys like Brent Venables leaving, okay. Dabo's had 6 coordinators since he's been there.
Yeah, that's true.
Brent Venables wasn't the first, and he won't be the last. Is Brent Venables very good? Yes.
Of course. One of the best.
Are there others out there that are very good? Yes. There probably even be head coaches from smaller teams that would be willing to take a coordinator job there because they would get looked at for a bigger head coaching job once they leave there. They know that.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows that. Because it's gotten to the point now, more and more coaches don't start off their coaching careers at smaller schools like guys like Nick Saban did. People are being handed big-time Power 5 programs as their first head coaching job. And I think that's why you're seeing so many of them fall flat on their face.
That's fair. We'll see. Look, again, I'm not going to completely doubt Clemson, but I'm truly curious myself, but still. Anyway, I guess since you're on here, I'll ask you what you expect, for Miami, because, that's one of the big teams to recruit, and especially bringing in a new coach. Signing day being tomorrow, what do you expect with Cristobal?
I think he'll get some guys that we didn't have before, obviously. He's arguably the best recruiter in the country.
Yeah.
But the main thing you were hearing out of Miami fans is, Manny's only got, I think it was like 8 or 10 guys in the class. Okay. This wasn't going to be a big class. This wasn't going to be a full 25 guys brought in because the roster's bloated because of 6th-year seniors because of COVID.
Yeah.
So I think you're going to see a lot of teams not bring in the full complement of 25, 26 players.
I don't think there's going to be. I don't think this year is going to be a clear cut. This team had the best class. Obviously you'll have your rankings, and someone's going to be number 1. But it's not like what Alabama had when they signed what people were calling the best class ever. There's a lot of different teams out there getting a lot of different talent.
Well, there is, and I'm not a fan of, people say the best class ever ranked off the star system. Yes, that generally tends to hold true, but in a lot of cases it doesn't.
Right.
I mean, what would it have been? It would have been, call it Miami's 97 class.
Yeah.
Wasn't particularly heralded as some great class, but you had a lot of players overachieve. And I think that's what it is, too. I think people get a little too hung up on, okay, we've got this many 5-star guys. So,
Yeah. I mean,
I don't really care about that because, number one, you can only have so many. And number two, look at Georgia. Okay, you've got all these 5-star guys.
yeah.
Still can't win your conference.
Screw it. Fine. Yeah. Screw it. Fine. Come on in, trenches. But nobody, look, I didn't mean for this to turn into a hangout stream. I really just let Slim on because I was saying stuff about Clemson and I was letting him state his case, which I think he made some good points.
In all fairness, I heard Georgia, so I figured I'd pop in real quick.
Wait, what?
I heard Slim trashing my dog, so I figured I'd hop in real quick.
I was not trashing. I was just stating the obvious.
It's not obvious when we just won the SEC Championship 2017. Stop it.
I'm just picking.
How you guys doing today?
Good, man.
I'm great.
That's awesome. Yeah, sorry about that, Ballard. I literally just hopped on and saw the StreamYard link. Figured I'd click in. I didn't see the beginning of the video.
Well, Ballard was on here making dubious claims that, Clemson's in a full rebuild and it's 3 or 4 years before they'll be relevant again. And that, to me, that was
I
just
said
a
possibly. I wasn't guaranteeing that.
No way. Ballard's making dubious claims? No way.
I wasn't guaranteeing that. I was just saying it's possible.
They got an uphill battle, but hey, man, Dabo's a good coach. He can figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm sure Kirby will get out of his own way at some point.
He can figure it out tomorrow with 13 players.
What was that, Trenches?
What's that?
I was asking what you said. Ballard was rudely interrupted you.
That's okay. I'm used to it. I said best thing Kirby can do is just stay out of the offensive way. Let him and Will run that defense, and he'll be golden. He'll be a hell of a coach at that point, and all the criticism be gone. If he don't touch the offense, we're good.
I mean, I think you're right. I think this year may be a lost cause because, unfortunately, you got Stetson Bennett.
Well, here's the thing, too, man. So, like, all of us Georgia fans, me included, are all praying we see JT, right? But it's a little bit too late. I mean, the kid hasn't had any valuable playing time. When he did, he looked rusty. Our best hope is that, Michigan, I think we can beat Michigan. I really do. But most likely we're going to turn around and play Bama again. Somebody's got an echo. If we play Bama, best thing we can hope for is the defense to step up, must get some turnovers. That's the main thing we can hope, but we cannot rely on Stetson to win the Natty. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Yeah. But that's just where we're at right now. But hey, my thing is Georgia still ain't getting the Natty this year if we don't beat Bama, right? Let's say we lose, we don't win it. Cool. There's still every team in the nation but Bama would trade us spots right now.
I do think you're kind of overlooking Michigan. I think Michigan can give you a much better game than what Georgia fan. Well, I'll say than what they appear to be saying.
Right. Here's my thing with Michigan, and this is and Ballard should be able to back me up on this. Everything Michigan does, that's what Georgia does. Georgia does it better.
Yes. Yeah.
And Michigan, which, I haven't said this much, but I've heard, Bama fans like Ballard and Webster and all them beat this with a dead horse. You're facing a pissed off Georgia now that wants to have something to prove on defense. That's where I see Michigan coming in with a big problem.
I will give you props. I do think I think every team's pissed off over a loss, obviously, but very few can go out and use that loss to ultimately win the rest of the season if they have the right guys. And I really do think that y'all still have the right guys to win a title. So Michigan, I think they have that too, and I think they've handled that Michigan State loss well to go and win the Big Ten, beat Ohio State and everything. But the fact that y'all lost the SEC to Alabama and let's just call it what it is, y'all are running your mouths and talking it up. Now Georgia's pissed. So Michigan might they better get ready.
Yeah, and let's go to what you just said, too, about the running the mouth talking about. You're right. I was, too. What team in that position – let me ask you this, Ballard. If the roles were reversed going into that game, y'all were number one, y'all's best defense we've seen in the history, who wouldn't run their mouth going into that game? Every team would do it.
Nobody's going to shut up.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Every
Right,
team would have
man.
done it.
It's trash
So when
talk.
I
We
hear
do
people
this.
going at Dog fans, I'm like, come on, bro. If Miami was in Georgia's shoes going to the SEC title game, you would be barking from the rooftop.
Oh my God, Miami.
I try and keep my head, and not saying I don't do like everybody else. Don't confuse it there. But I said it early in the season. I said, okay, but Georgia fans are hyping up this Arkansas win. I said, if they turn out to be a 7-5 team, that doesn't look like such a great win at that point.
Right, but you got to think, going into that game, Georgia's going to get the ass whooped. I mean, I know we hear this about Georgia every week. It's kind of running joke. Even Lou makes fun of it, who they play. We hear it every week as a Georgia fan. So when we beat those teams, we're going to bark because all y'all wouldn't shut up saying that we're going to lose.
Well, I thought the game was
Auburn to beat. I mean,
yeah. I mean, if you want to take Arkansas in particular, I thought Georgia would have beat them worse than they did.
Right. I'll say this too, real quick. And I think part of it. I mean, yeah, Georgia had a bad game, but let's not forget that Alabama did lose to Texas A&M. And like I said, very few teams, I mean, I think a lot of teams out there use it as motivation, but very few can successfully take a loss like Alabama did to A&M that can piss them off, get everything straightened out for the team, that they can go and win the games they need to win down the road. And I think really that played a key factor in them beating Georgia.
I don't think it did, though, because you got to think, after A&M, it was a lot. I know you hate this word, and most fans do, but it was a lot of struggle wins at that point.
I agree.
I think the biggest thing was the fact that they did beat, like, going into the Georgia game, as a Georgia fan, you're not looking at the loss to A&M because, I mean, playing at A&M fucking sucks no matter who you are. Sorry, Ballard. Sucks no matter who you are.
I got you.
But struggling that bad, that's where Georgia fans go, okay, we're finally the better team going into this game. Right. We're gonna let Bama fans know it at this point because we hear it every time we play Bama because we're always the underdog. Oh, now we're not. So, yeah, we're screaming it from the rooftops, man. We're going off.
Right. And all Nick Saban had to say was just keep your mouth shut and go play the game. And they did.
Yeah, but, I mean, Saban says a lot of stuff. He also told you fans y'all were ridiculous. So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt.
What? Hey, Trenches.
Yes.
Dude. Hold on.
Ballard, whether you like it or not, it's a fact. Saban told all Bama fans.
It really doesn't matter what you think. All right? It really doesn't matter what you say.
Let me give you a hint here, Ballard. Next time you got something that you want to sting up, have it ready to go before you get into the segment. So
I'm using my phone because I'm going to be honest, it's not working on my computer.
I got you.
I had to scroll.
But look, no one's going to get on here and bash Saban. He's the greatest coach of all time. Everyone knows that. No one's going to argue.
Yeah.
But to say like, he said, yeah, that was yummy, or he said, yeah, he also told y'all to shut up. So I mean, you can't have it both ways. You got to deal with everything in what your coach says. Just like when Kirby won't give us any details about anything, we just got to deal with it.
Yeah.
Just like we now know that Dabo can beat him in football and golf.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm excited. I'm very excited for tomorrow. I always try to do, and I will. I'll try to do a stream for signing day. Hopefully, I would hope that StreamYard will participate and work on the computer. And if it doesn't, I guess I could just use the actual YouTube thing, or I could figure something out. But you know,
Ballard, who are you most looking forward to
I don't
getting
think
from Bama?
anyone's going to have a class like what Alabama signed last year, obviously. And there's some great 5-stars out there, but I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of new head coaches too, and especially with the recent hires, like the past couple weeks and all, and even in the off season, it'll be interesting. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some guys flip. I'm curious. Like, does anyone who had offers to LSU, like, do they flip to LSU because of Brian Kelly, or well, who am I kidding? Nobody was committed to Florida. But I mean, that's just something y'all got to take into account tomorrow too when you watch and listen in on signing day. What you're gonna have.
Well,
Here's the thing, Ballard. One name, me and you need to be looking for the whole time, because it's down to Bama and Georgia. The kid's currently at Florida State. His name's Travis Hunter. He's gonna flip. And right now it's between Bama and Georgia, so that's who I'm looking out for tomorrow. He's the number one.
Which what position is he? Is he 5-star too?
He's the number one in the nation.
Okay.
Look out for Travis Hunter.
Oh.
Well, I've heard a rumor about Travis Hunter that neither one of y'all are going to like.
Clemson?
Actually, from what I've heard, he's supposed to pull a Miami hat from under the table live.
If that happens,
Oh, I see him. He's a corner.
I don't know.
I mean, that's just social media rumors. I don't know.
Yeah, hey, man. Like I said, that happens. Congrats to you, man. That's a hell of a pickup.
Yeah, and that's something Miami could use as some quality corners.
Yeah. I just want to see him in the back there with Malachi Starks in a couple years. We'll have him, Malachi Starks, Keely Ringo. That'd be a monster backfield at that point.
Well, and this is my problem with people focusing on recruiting. I agree. Recruiting is the lifeblood.
Yep.
And it's one of the reasons I didn't want Mario. Mario has far and away the most talented team in the Pac-12 at Oregon, and he still struggled to win it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The number one. Well, actually,
Mario had a lot of problems.
Oh, sorry about that.
Go ahead, Ballard. Number one what?
Oh, I was going to say one of the top prospects, he's actually number 2 on the list, but Walter Nolan is a big-time commit to A&M. Now, he's got offers from all over the place. I'd be curious to see if maybe he flips, although I really don't know.
I don't think he flipped.
Well,
I think he's a pretty solid commit.
All right.
Don't be surprised if you lose Earl Little Jr. from your class, Ballard.
Oh, crap. I forgot about that player.
Because
I've heard of him.
The day of his press conference, Mario was sitting in his living room. And don't forget, Earl Little Sr. played for Miami with Cristobal.
Yep. Yeah, man.
So, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Mario's able to flip him.
Well, I mean, one thing that I was going to bring up too was, with all the coaching changes, because I mean, you got to think of who recruits these players. Like, the players committed to Oregon going in, right? Now, they have 11 commits. I don't know what it was before. Maybe it's dropped. Maybe it hasn't. I haven't really checked. But you imagine that maybe some of those players have some sort of connection to Cristobal that now they're like, well, you know, it don't have to be Oregon, but since this guy's going to Miami, let me pick up the U hat and take my butt down to Florida. Like, you know, so I mean, and we've had quite a bit of coaching changes, you know, guys have left, and that's a big deal because when these players commit, like some of them are like, oh, the best players, generational talents are going to go to one of the best programs out there, like a Clemson or Georgia or Alabama or whoever it might be. But then you got those ones out there that are going because of the relationship with someone on staff or the head coach.
Well, and people try and discount it, and they try and use examples like Trevor Lawrence, who is a Tennessee fan but went to Clemson. You have guys that no matter who the coach is, they're going to Tennessee, or they're going to Georgia, or they're going to Alabama or Miami.
Yeah. You got guys out there. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was done.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say you also have, and God, I'm always going to use this as an example, but y'all got to realize something too. Justin Ross at Clemson was a diehard Alabama fan growing up, from Alabama over in Phoenix City, and he literally had Bama in his blood and on his, like, he had Bama right there in front of him until the last second. And when he signed, he picked up the hat and said, I'm going to go play for Dabo and the Tigers. And he even talked about it. He said, it's the culture over there, and it's the coaches and the people that I've talked with and everything. So, I mean, last minute decisions, obviously, they always happen, and big surprises like that. But, I mean, it's not even – there's players out there, but it's either they're going here because of who the coach is and the relationship they have with the coach and everybody on staff, or they want to go to a winning program and they want to go win a title or something. But there's a lot of great athletes that go, like I said, you know, because of the coaches, regardless if they're going to win a title or have a chance or not. You know?
That's true. I got a question for Trenches, though.
What's up?
Just say, for the sake of argument, Stetson comes out there in the Michigan game and throws 4 interceptions. How does Kirby get another decent quarterback recruit to ever come there again?
If he doesn't put JT in, you mean like he just sticks with Stetson the whole time?
Well, I don't think he's got a choice but to stick with Stetson.
I mean, you always got a chance to change out quarterbacks. The question is, does he do it? If he doesn't change him out, man, I don't know, man. I could see Gunner flipping again. I could see, you know, players like Brock going, okay, how the hell do I get the hell out of here? I don't know, man.
Yeah.
At that point.
Oh, that's some. Oh, go ahead.
That was it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's something else too. I'm curious because Stetson, he'll be back next year, right?
God, let's just not talk about it.
I mean, let's say, let's hypothetically speaking, let's say he's gone, and let's say JT transfers or leaves or whatever, and you're down. I mean,
you're down to Carson Beck, Brock Vandergriff, and Gunnar Stockton.
All right. Well, if he makes the wrong QB decision again next year, which I'm not even sure if he's made the wrong one this year. I don't know. But if he chooses the wrong guy, and, I mean, obviously he's not going to get fired, but what do you think that's going to say to other quarterback recruits out there? He may never get another good quarterback.
Okay, Ballard, I know you're trying to be nice and say that you don't know if he's made the right decision or not. Let me use an analogy that I think you'll understand. Kirby going with Stetson Bennett is the equivalent of Bruce Arians saying Blaine Gabbert's the starter.
I would. Bruce already.
Why the hell would he do that?
Exactly. So look, I get what you're saying, Slim, but at the same time, there's kind of a double edge to this one, because every time we have seen JT throw this year, He hasn't been on target at all. So that tells me, like, how bad is he playing in practice?
Possibility. I mean, but then again, he's missed so much time that.
Yeah.
I mean, it just makes me think that's got to be a lot of rust, and you can't do anything about that. But getting games
okay, but let's look before he got injured. Look before he got injured, which he was slightly injured in the Clemson game, they said, but only slightly. He didn't play good against Clemson, which, I mean, I get it's an elite defense, but still, you should be doing better than that.
Right.
Look, man, like I said, I'm all for seeing JT just so it gives us something different to look at. But at the same time, something's got to be going on why he's not hitting the field. It can't just be the fact that Kirby wants to try this walk-on experience. It can't. Kirby wants to win games. I mean, no coach goes out there going, okay, give me
He wants to win the SEC. He wants to take Georgia and win the SEC.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I know we need to go further.
No. But if we're looking at quarterback situations next year, let's say Stetson's gone, let's say JT transfers out, and what I would want to see is what we did with Aaron Murray. You take Gunner and you put him as a starter his freshman year and develop that kid for 4 years. That's who I want to see as our quarterback. I like Brock, I like Carson, but Gunner is a legit elite quarterback, and that's who I want to see get built.
Yeah.
Now you realize you do that, you lose the other two.
Deuces. Don't give a shit. We got a quarterback that can throw.
Well, yeah. I mean, you don't give a shit until the guy gets injured, and all of a sudden you're back to playing.
Hey, you're missing one guy though. You're missing old reliable Jackson Muschamp sitting in second string.
Oh my gosh, trenches.
Now that's something I'm hoping for. Actually, is Mario comes and pilfers Will off of your coaching staff to be our DC.
He's not gonna happen. He's already got promoted to defensive coordinator at Georgia. Why would he leave to go to Miami? He's at his alma mater as a defensive coordinator. He's in heaven.
Yep.
I've heard different. I've heard he's co-defensive coordinator for this game, but the other guy's going to be defensive coordinator full-time next season.
No way in hell. Think about this. You think we hired Will Muschamp? Remember, he got hired last year when Texas was already offering Dan Lanning jobs. Will Muschamp didn't get hired for his special teams ability. He got hired as a retainer for a DC when Dan Lanning leaves.
Well, he also wasn't special teams coach until what's his name had to go to rehab.
Right, but you really think like Georgia's going to pay him to be the special teams coach when we have that genius of a defensive mind sitting there?
Well, I hope you're wrong.
Nah, I guarantee you I'm right. You're going to have Georgia coached by Kirby and Will, and they are like best friends in the get-go, so it's going to be perfect. That's the prayer of the defense. You know, it's going to have to, work on some people getting missing from this year, but it's still going to be loaded. I'm happy.
One team that I am watching tomorrow is Michigan. Now, nationally, according to 247, they're ranked number 9 right now. They're third in the Big Ten. I mentioned they're number 9. I would not be surprised if you see a couple guys make some last-minute decisions, and based on Harbaugh's success this year, Michigan could finish maybe a couple spots higher, maybe around 6 or 7.
I'm going to go ahead and say doubtful, just because the fact, like, look, let me ask you this: is Nate in the comments?
I don't think he is.
All right, good. I don't want to hurt his feelings. I really don't want to hurt his feelings. This is the first year Harbaugh's been good since he got there. Let's not act like, oh man, I want to go play for Harbaugh. This dude's consistent and kills it. No, he's got one good year, which is great. He could definitely build off of it. But am I relying my 4-year, tenure on where I go play to a guy who had one dominant?
Well, that's not technically true, sir. I mean, he's got a couple of 10 and 11 win season other than this one.
Right, but you're in the Big Ten. If you're going to be elite, win the Big Ten.
I mean, arguably, he's in the hardest conference or the hardest division in football.
For this year.
I think that's year in and year out. I mean,
oh, get out of here, Slim. There's no way the Big Ten's harder than the SEC West. Get out of here.
The Big Ten East Penn State's consistently good. Ohio State's consistently good. Michigan, we've already covered. And it wasn't that long ago that Michigan State made the playoffs.
Okay, you got Bama, A&M, LSU, Ole Miss, Auburn. That's 4 right there, powerhouse teams in one conference. Yeah, they have bad years every now and then, but they're pretty legit elite conference.
Ole Miss, hang
They're
on. Ole Miss legitimately just had their first 10-win season ever, and you just called them elite?
Yeah, in that conference, yeah, I'm going to put them as elite for this year. Absolutely.
But for this year, I'm talking year in and year out. That was what you said a minute ago, too.
Talking, I'm actually going to have to side with Slim. If you're talking about consistently good, right?
I'm talking about Harbaugh being consistently good
I'm
elite
not
coach.
talking to the Georgia
Negative.
fan in the corner. I'm not talking to the Georgia fan sitting in the corner still crying over the SEC. I'm talking to Slim Shady.
Ooh.
Ballard, I will reach to this screen and slap the Christian off you, son.
Do it. Fight.
What's up, Jeff?
I'm not Chess. Remember that.
No,
All right,
but
go ahead, Ballard. What was your
seriously, Slim Shady was making a good point. You know, I mean, if you look at some of the teams in the Big Ten compared to the SEC, and I'm not here to say that the SEC is not like the Big Ten is not necessarily a better conference, but like Slim was saying, consistently, like the teams that you see on a regular basis.
Okay,
There's
let me
more
ask you this then.
consistency.
Let me ask you this then, guys. Because the main argument was whether or not Jim has been an elite coach for more than 1 year, and you said, well, he's had 10-win seasons. That's great. Then why is it that every year we keep hearing about Jim Harbaugh getting fired? Every year they're lowering his contract extension. Every year we're hearing he's not getting the job done. He's not beating his rival. He's not winning the Big Ten. So to say this is his first great year,
Because they're
I don't think I was out of line saying that.
Because they're
Well, I mean,
crybabies.
I can find Georgia fans that have been calling for Kirby's head since 2017.
Yeah, those
I
are
don't blame him for that. I don't blame him for that.
Hang on, pause. There's a difference between fans and the actual school changing his contract. There's a big difference in that.
Oh, here we go.
What do you mean, here we go? Did they not change Harbaugh's contract?
Oh, with the extension? Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Every year, there's been talks about him, and then finally the school was like, yeah, they're kind of right. Let's make it to where it's an easier buyout for us when we get rid of this guy. Now this year, he's doing great. That's all I'm saying. I'm not bashing Michigan. I'm not bashing the Big Ten. I'm saying Harbaugh has not been a consistent elite coach till this year. And to say that he has, then talk to Michigan's athletic director. Find out why that contract was written.
Well, there are plenty of athletic directors in this country that I disagree with.
I get that.
I have a feeling,
What was said.
Forget, you got to realize, and yeah, okay, it's been 6 years since he's been hired, but I'm willing to bet you, Trenches, and it might not happen every year, but I really do think that this year for Harbaugh was not a one-time thing, and I think he's going to get Michigan to the point of being pretty consistent in the Big Ten going forward.
I'm glad you just said that.
Yeah.
Kirby and Jim Harbaugh have both been head coaches where they're at for 6 years. Both of them have won their conference one time. They're pretty on par to me.
Ooh. Hey.
They might be a part of you, but the problem is, like I said 2 minutes ago, one has a contract extension lowering his pay. The other one ain't been touched since because he's at least recruiting in a high class and getting them to the big games. I'm not bashing Harbaugh. I'm saying this is the first year we have seen him as a complete elite coach. There's no way y'all can disagree with that. The man finally beat his rival, finally won the division.
It's the first time for Kirby, too.
First
And
time
I'll
for
say it
what?
like
Jackass,
this.
we didn't
Hear
win
it
the
out.
SEC and we're in the playoffs again.
Okay? You made it back to the playoff.
So where's the first time? Please repeat yourself, Ballard.
The first time that you were in the spotlight all year long. All
What
year
in the
long.
hell are you talking about? How could we be the
You
first
have
time in
a
the spotlight
complete
all year
team
long?
this
No,
time.
2017,
You didn't
dog.
have much of a complete team in 2017. Not like you do this year.
Okay, so we got to hold on to the number one spot all year, right?
Yeah, that's
what
all
you're
I'm trying to do.
Oh my God, you're an idiot. Well, how many teams do that, Ballard? How many teams do that, Ballard?
I'm
don't
not
know.
with you on that one.
I don't
Ballard.
know. At this point, I'll let anybody on. What's up, Jeff? I don't
Here's
care.
what just
Come on
happened.
in
Hang
here.
on a second, Jeff. Hang on. Slim, here's what just happened. I'll go ahead and break it down for you. He got caught in the first time thing, so he's like, all right, what did happen first time this year for Georgia? And he tried to roll off of that narrative, and it didn't work.
Well, that's what I was saying. I can't roll with Ballard on that one.
What's going on, Jeff?
I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Are we arguing that Jim Harbaugh should not or should be the coach of the year?
No. I made an argument because we were talking about recruiting, and Ballard was like, a lot of kids could flip to Michigan this year. And I was like, I don't know if I would because it's been the first year that he's been elite, accomplishes his goals, and finally has been an elite, great coach. And that argument came into the whole, well, he's won 10-win seasons, which I, rebutted with them. Why did his contract get lowered? Why did his athletic director and his program thought that he's not worth the buyout?
Right.
That's all the argument was. And then Ballard tried to take back to Georgia as a rebuttal.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you're caught up, man.
I think Harbaugh's had a great year, considering the landscape and who else has done whatever. He probably does deserve to be the head coach of the year. But this is the first time he's ever really been a serious candidate for the honor.
Oh. Jeff, I'm glad you're here.
Well, and I disagree. I wasn't disagreeing with the argument Trenches was making. I was just disagreeing with the fact that they should have done it. Because, like I said, Harbaugh's had a couple of 10-win and an 11-win season before now. I don't think his job ever should have been in jeopardy.
Right. And I get with you on that, Slim. The only thing I disagree with Slim on was his argument was, well, he won his SEC once, something Kirby's already at. They're at par. Well, hang on a second. I didn't compare the two. You just did. I'm just comparing this guy's career.
Well, and if you want to think about it, they're very similar.
They're not. All right. So Harbaugh's making his first playoff appearance. Kirby's making his second. Kirby's recruiting in the top 3 classes every damn year.
I didn't say they were exact. I said they were comparable.
I got you. Ballard, you hiding? You gonna come talk?
No, I'll say this. Going into the season, there were high hopes for Georgia, and did they hit the mark? Outside of winning the FCC, I think so. But let's be honest, going into the season, would a lot of people have picked Michigan to beat Ohio State? I mean, it would have sounded, pretty legit. But, I was one of the ones that did. But for the most part, nobody expected them to win the Big Ten and make the playoffs.
I kind of saw them winning the Big Ten because I've said it consistently for a couple of years now.
Okay.
Everybody's anointing Ryan Day as this elite coach.
He's not.
Like, let's kind of pump the brakes here.
They don't even have a quarterback at Ohio State right now. But go on.
Well, and that was my point. Let's pump our brakes and see what this guy can do when he doesn't have a playoff-ready team handed to him, and then Justin Fields on a silver platter.
Yeah. Look, I'm all for it. I don't think Ryan Day's that amazing either. I agree with both of you on that one.
And I'm not saying that he can't be. I'm just like, let's pump our brakes on that argument a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's very, and this is where I'll say Georgia's lucky. And I brought this point up when it was just me and Ballard on here talking.
Oh, okay.
You don't normally see coaches come into their first head coaching job and do as well as Kirby and Mark Richt have done.
Oh yeah,
and that's kind of my argument against Ryan Day is, he was handed this great team. Let's give it some time, see what happens with it.
Right.
Yep.
because that was a point I made to Ballard too a little while ago. Is you're starting to see it more and more, and I'm not a fan of it. At least how it's turned out at Miami. Of guys' first head coaching jobs are becoming bigger programs. They're not working their way up through smaller programs like coaches used to have to do.
Yeah,
Right.
Ballard, you got an echo, buddy, coming from your end.
My bad. Yeah, I don't know. StreamYard's really been screwing with me. I'm having to use my phone. It's not working on the laptop. I don't know what's going on with it, but
I'm doing the same. My laptop don't work either.
If you have it on speaker, Ballard, that's it. If you're not using headphones. Well, I guess it's just me and Print Trenches now.
is that better?
Yes, that's better.
All right.
Look, man, and look, I keep hearing, Georgia, this is going to be a failed season from all this. People tend to forget, Georgia still has everything sitting in front of them. The games have not been played yet.
Nope, they
That's
haven't.
true.
People are really, I get it. We lost to Bama by, a good bit.
But let me ask you this: going
Still
into
an
the
elite team.
season,
We still can turn it around. It's not over. We're
Right.
still in the playoffs.
now I said going into the
Yeah.
season. Now I was fooled by Oklahoma because there was a lot of hype on the Sooners. Obviously, that's kind of faded. But I said I think this could be the year that Georgia, if they have any chance, if you want to win a title, this is the year to do it because of all the other teams like in Alabama coming up and where Georgia's going to I don't think they're going to go away, but it's just going to get harder because of some other teams out there in college football. I did not say Georgia would be 15-0 if they won a title. I didn't say they were going to take a loss either. So just like anybody else out there, like you Georgia fans, I don't think Bama's going to do it this year. I think that we could, but it's very hard to repeat. And if it is a revenge game, do you trust Kirby to use losses as motivation in a revenge game? Maybe. I don't know if he's wired. I don't know how he is with that. But
we've seen it. He did it. We've seen it.
Oh yeah, Auburn in 2017. That's right. Anyway, okay. But y'all still have it a lot in front of you, and you could end a 41-year drought, and you might not be 15-0, but damn it, 14-1, national champions, take it any given day of the year, man.
I'm going to tell you right now, if
still-
14-1
still
national
could be.
champions and that national championship win is over Alabama, we're all going to celebrate.
And I'm just gonna. Honestly, I'd say I'd be mad, but I'd applaud you because I'm just like, holy crap, Kirby.
Well,
You
as
actually did it.
As a disinterested third party, I'm not a fan of any of the teams in it, so I don't really care. If you told me I had to put an amount of money that mattered to me on it, my pick right now would be Michigan. Looking at it,
All right, that's
in the
fair.
Georgia-Michigan game or the national title?
All of it.
Michigan to win it. Michigan to win it all.
Oh, wow. Well, I hope you're wrong, because I do have somebody in that fight. So, no.
I still
Well, like
think.
I said, this is coming from somebody that doesn't have a dog in the fight.
Can you tell me why?
I still think it would be funny as hell. Let's just say, can either one of us really get that upset if Cincinnati and Michigan both win, and then all of college football will be throwing a big party because the SEC got two teams in the playoff, and neither one of them are repping the Natty. How funny would it be
Well,
I'd rather that happen
if
than
our
Bama win
team
it all.
got upset on New Year's Eve and we're not going to the
shut
Natty?
up, Ballard.
Ah, damn.
Well, he asked me a question. You hadn't shut up to let me answer it.
My bad.
My reasoning for it.
Yeah.
I agree with you that Georgia can come in there with a chip on their shoulder. That can backfire on you. And
No, okay.
if
No,
it's,
let me rephrase the question real quick, Slim, just because I don't want to get into the Georgia-Michigan. Why do you think Michigan, let's say they do beat Georgia. Michigan's strong suits are Georgia's strong suits. Why do you think they can beat Bama?
because Bama's too inconsistent.
Okay, fair enough.
I think you saw.
Want to know.
Yeah, I think you saw the absolute best game Bama has played all year in the SEC championship. I don't know if they can play that for the next 2 games in a row.
So you're
I
saying
don't
there's a
know,
good chance they might have
honestly.
peaked. You saying Bama might have peaked?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or
It's
that they were
possible.
just able to get up for that big game, because the SEC championship is a big emotional game. You know, who
Yeah.
says they can get up to that level again?
Sure.
If I'm Georgia looking at this Michigan game, I'm not doubting the defense, but if I am worried about anything with how Cade McNamara, Hassan Haskins, and everybody have stepped up for Michigan's offense, especially in November and to close out the season, and how they did against the Buckeyes, I'm not worried about defending it, but if I'm Georgia, I'm sitting there saying we got our own offensive issues, and I don't know if we can get it together enough to be able to have our own offense competing at that level.
You know what I'm praying for, Ballard, to be honest with you?
You want Cincinnati to win.
No. No, God, no. If we win, I want to beat y'all.
Okay.
If JT doesn't get to play, right, I'm praying that Stetson somehow finds all these YouTube videos and gets some kind of like, oh, y'all don't think I can win a natty? Fine. And just lights some kind of fire under his 4-foot ass. That's what I'm praying. But I don't even know if that's enough, man. He's not the guy.
I hope to God this doesn't happen, and I think I brought it up before, but if it's Georgia and Alabama the title, how funny would it be? I mean, I would just scoff at it, because how funny would it be if not necessarily he's struggling, but it's not enough. Well, maybe he is struggling, and Stetson's playing against Alabama in the title. And I swear to God, if y'all put JT Daniels, if you put your backup quarterback in and beat us, son.
It's not that simple, Ballard.
On the cake.
It's not that simple. When Alabama did it, the first time, Tua had played the second half of every game and actually ran the offense. Same way with Jalen Hurts the next year.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll tell you, the icing on the cake for me is we're going to screw all of it, and Muschamp comes out there and whoops that ass. I'm team Jackson Muschamp. Let's do it.
Hey, and if he does it, power to you.
All right.
I mean, I'll watch it either way.
Oh, me too. Either way, it's going to be interesting, man. It's a hell of an Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
No, I think that's definitely going to be the better of the 2 games. And I actually see that one being a very close game.
I don't know, man. I'm not willing to say that yet, just because I feel like Bama fans are really overlooking Cincinnati. Not that Cincinnati's going to win the game, but Cincinnati can give them some fits.
Oh, you know Cincinnati's going to pull every trick play in the book.
Yep.
Check that out, man.
They're going to come out there with flea flickers and Statue of Liberties, and somewhere in the third quarter they'll hit the fumble rooski.
Ballard, you see this one? Hang on. I got my new hat.
Oh, that's awesome. Did you get – oh. No, my grandmother went ahead. The birthday gift she got me was a Cotton Bowl T-shirt for Alabama. So.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. I joked with her. I said they didn't have any that said champions on it. And she said, we still got to wait and see what happens in this game. I said, we're going to lose to a group of 5. Which actually –
are you going to cuss your grandma if you lose that game?
I'm gonna be like George Carlin. You go, rat shit, man. Yeah, never mind. I don't know.
Look, man, I want the rematch with Bama, because that to me makes the season complete. But if y'all lose to Cincinnati, I'm laughing my ass off at the same time.
I will say, when was the last time? And we've had some good rematch games in a couple college football seasons. But truly, when's the last time a team beat a team 2 times in one season?
I don't know.
I mean, it's very hard to do. Look, if it is Georgia and Alabama, which a lot of people say that's the most likely scenario, I mean, it could be Michigan, Cincinnati. I don't know. But if let's say it is Georgia and Alabama, if y'all
Would
win,
it?
it would not surprise me if Georgia beat Alabama in a rematch.
Would you
I
have to
know I
go all
talk
the
a
way
lot of.
back?
Go
Would you
ahead.
have to go all the way back to 2003, the last time a team beat the same team twice in a year?
Who
I mean,
was
I
it?
would think it's Miami beat Florida State twice in 2003.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it had to have happened since then. I mean, I would just think that it would have
Screw
to.
it. Screw it.
No,
Everybody's
no,
on.
no.
What's up?
Okay,
Screw it.
no, that's actually wrong. The last time that happened was
Oh,
2019.
get this guy out of here.
Oh,
Baylor
No,
versus
that's
Oklahoma.
wrong. That's wrong. The last time somebody beat somebody twice in the season just happened. Utah, Oregon.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
This year.
Oh, we were talking about before
you?
this year.
Oh, before this year. Okay.
Yeah, Baylor, Oklahoma, 2019.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I said it had to have happened since then. I just didn't know when.
Well, it's easy to tell because the Big 12 teams, if they both make the conference title, they play each other twice. So
I'll tell you what, man. I like my two teams going into this year. Georgia, they ain't disappointed me too much. But man, I'll tell you what, Oklahoma really had themselves a hell ride. I mean, they really
Nah,
disappointed.
man.
I mean,
Two biggest disappointments for me were North Carolina and Iowa State. Those are my disappointments of the year.
yeah,
Yep.
you can put Clemson on this on that list too.
Nah,
Not
you
as this.
can't.
Clemson's
They
dead
lost
now.
too much going into it. We knew Travis Etienne was going to be a hard replace, and we didn't really know what DJ was going to be able to do.
Not as disappointing, but I'd still call it a little bit disappointing.
Well, I mean, considering your offense couldn't score more than a field goal against them, do you really want to talk about how disappointing they are?
Yeah, on offense, they are disappointing. Considering I named Travis Etienne and DJ, yeah.
Yeah. Now their offense is disappointing, most definitely.
That's what I
Their
said.
defense.
Well, they're still disappointing because they're playoff contenders, and then they fell off a little bit. But
Dude, they're in the
9-3.
ACC. They can't even take the ACC from Wake Forest. That's a disappointment. No matter if they held Georgia to 0 points, that's a disappointment.
All three of them, 100%. Sorry.
Still went 9-3. So
That was somebody I was actually hoping Miami might go after, is that head coach of Wake Forest. Pair him with a damn good DC. That'd be a good team.
I tell you what, Cincinnati better throw every penny they got at Fickle. Some big programs gonna scoop him up for sure.
well, since he's going to the Power 5, so that'll help a little bit.
Yeah.
That actually makes me think Luke Fickell would stay there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What do y'all think of?
I found out the other day, and this will impact Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC. That the Big 12 is going to put a deadline down of July 1st, 2024, to fold the 4 newcomers into the Big 12. So it looks like we're going to start a realignment of the Big 12 into 2 divisions, East and West, and start with Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, and BYU fully integrated into the SEC, into the Big 12, which means by absentia, Oklahoma and Texas will not be at the start of the 2024 football season.
Wow.
So, what I was going to bring up was I know he's coaching in the bowl game for the Sooners, but could y'all?
No.
Is
He's
Bob
not coming
Stoops?
back.
Is he long term at Oklahoma? Do you think?
No.
No.
They hired Brent Venables.
Oh crap! That's right. I forgot. That's right.
I
My
mean,
bad.
he's going to stay retired.
Stoops is always going to be a presence. He's always going to be hovering around, but he's
a
only
big
there to coach the one game.
And really, that's a bad thing. He just needs to he needs to go play golf instead of hovering over Oklahoma's program.
Yeah.
So really, that's a bad thing.
Ballard, I love when you do these hangout streams.
Yeah, I try not to let this show get like that. But speaking of, I do have to. I have class in 2 hours. It's a big one. Final exams today, so just got to get prepared and everything. But I don't want to be on here too much longer. I appreciate y'all coming by. I'll let y'all have some final words, and then I'm going to end the show.
Well, Ballard, all I got to say is, man, good luck with that. Hopefully you get out of elementary school this year.
Oh,
Knock
shut
out the
up.
finals, you keep rolling.
Keep
Hey, buddy.
keep the room open, Ballard, even if you
Oh
don't
yeah,
take it.
I'll keep it. I'll at least send it on YouTube. If y'all want to keep talking, we can. But I love y'all. Y'all hit the thumbs up. Merry Christmas. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And roll time. All right.
Well, good luck.